Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back. First of all, if you'd like to support me, my PayPal will be down in the description, so thank you all. And like I said, I'm back with a brand new episode of What If Naruto Wasn't a Naive Idiot, guys? Part 8. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels if you're new. Yes, that's correct. I indeed have 3 more channels, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. I'll be leaving the links down in the description for the other channels, so go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or wasting more time, let's begin this now, guys. So the last part we left off, Tsunade was seated within her office. A lot has happened. It has been 3.5 years. The San blame a lot on their Kazekage. It was his desire. And with his death, they believed they could overcome the precedent of his betrayal. However, they were given sanctions from Konoha. But at least, the Hidden Leaf was not completely squashing them the way they stood. So that was good. However, the note that Tsunade had found, it now clarified a lot. That was the main reason why Naruto never wanted to continue his therapy sessions. He had no desire, he had no goal, no reason to do them, because he was never going to stay within the vicinity of Konoha. He was always planning on leaving. His note was read by all that was close to him, as a lot had changed because of the defection of both him and Sasuke and the demise of Sakura Haruno. After speaking to Kurenai and Inoichi, Tsunade was worried about everything. After truly understanding Naruto mindset, something she never truly understood before. So she was worried about everything going beyond. Meanwhile that was going on, the Raikage was paid a visit by a dark-haired individual. It was a woman, judging from her stature, who seemed to be in her late teens. She called herself She meaning death. This woman was no laughing matter because she was able to enter his office without much of a fuss. Now that was surprising on itself. She told him about the visit that would be paid to his village soon enough, and he should be able to welcome this individual. The Raikage tried to attack her, but he failed, as she teleported towards none other than Naruto, who has grown a lot in the past couple of years, as everything about him seemed so different, as he seemed so much more different. As she told him that, she told him about his arrival. She was speaking to him as she caught him smoking cigarettes, something that he used to calm his mind nowadays. As she brought up the subject of Sakura Haruno, Naruto warned her not to speak about that. She apologized. With that, Naruto entered the village, immediately surrounded. However, he warned the Raikage not to attack him, otherwise 50 people will be killed for every attack. The Raikage took Naruto up on his so-called bluff as he saw it, and he lost 50 people. Naruto told him that he would be coming for the tailed beasts very soon. The Raikage was rather confused why he was giving him a warning, but he did not seem to care one bit about the desire of them posing a threat against him. He told him that he wished to rewrite how the shinobi world was set, and he would ask for their hand, for their aid, but if they stand against him, Half of their village, their population would be cut, and also they would be removed from the seat. Word spread about that attack after Naruto made it, as everyone heard about it. The next visit was the San. Naruto arrived in the office of Baki. His desire at first was to simply annihilate the entire San because of what their so-called Jinchuriki did to the one that he cared about the most. However, he came with an offer. Baki was frightened because he did not sense this person, and the woman that just appeared behind him terrified him as hell. As Naruto told him his desire and what he was going to do, as it seems that the whole world would be kicked into an affair that people would be unable to truly stop. His next visit was Mei Tarume, as she was able to win the civil war. Somehow Naruto had information on her that he shouldn't have, as he told her things that he should not know, as he admired her strength, fighting for her village. He supposed that she was one of the first that would not actually try to attack him, and he was right. His desire was to aid mankind, not to destroy them. As she tried to use her mind on him, but she then realized that she was dealing with something much more dangerous here. He also brought back Utakata, but Utakata no longer had the 6 tails inside of him, but at least he was alive. And how that was possible, Mei had no idea. His other visit was towards the stone. He kidnapped Oniki's granddaughter, stopping the man from attacking him. As he simply wished to talk after his conversation was finished, she would be handed back. His desire was the same, but Oniki immediately shot it down, saying that Naruto was an upstart that had no idea what he was doing, and just like many others, he would be put down as well. However, Naruto simply made his way after that. As word spread more and more, the elemental nation was on fire. The Akatsuki was rising up after being dormant for so long. The 1 tails and 9 tails was out of their reach, but know that they had the 9 tails after all. He was the last one to be there with the 1 tails, and something happened from the spies that they had in the sand. So they had to capture the 9-tailed Jinchuriki, the first and the end. We also had a glimpse of Sasuke, who was told about the arrival of his so-called former teammate. As Sasuke realized that it was time to put his plan into action, a few days flew by after that, as Naruto was in Konoha, as the alert was given by a standard shinobi who saw him entering the Haruno residence. Naruto came to speak to Sakura's mother and father. Tsunade immediately got there. She wasn't alone though. She had Kakashi with her. She also had Inoichi and also Kurenai with her as well. They were surprised though when they saw 4 cups of tea there waiting for them, as he planned accordingly for them to arrive. And for the first time in 3.5 years they saw him, and how much has he changed so drastically. So yeah guys, basically as left off, you guys can switch across the PlayStation of yourselves to be in this new episode. The whole atmosphere was rather tense. You could see it from their gaze, even though they were trying to remain calm in this situation. However, his face was the opposite. He was actually smiling. Odd, as he wasn't a person that smiled a lot in the past. Kurenai and Inoichi noticed that. He turned his gaze towards both of the Harunos. Would you mind giving us a minute? I'm sure they're worried about the both of your safety, he said to them. Tsunade noticed how calm both of them were around Naruto, as they did not expect him to harm them in the slightest. Given from what she knew about the relationship that he once shared with their daughter, well, she wasn't surprised. As they made their way, they were already told by him as they went to the door, as envoys were there to escort them out. So now there was no civilians around. Naruto first turned his gaze towards Kakashi. It's been a long time, Sensei, he said. 3.5 years, Kakashi responded. It seems like history has repeated itself. It's not even funny. It's rather ironic, Naruto said. You rejoining Anvu after a similar case. Well, at least we're all not dead. Sasuke is still out there somewhere. How do you know that I'm a part of Anvu? Kakashi asks back. I have my ways, Naruto said. That statement from him had gotten a lot of attention by the two mind experts there, as they noticed a few things about his way of speech. For one thing, when he spoke about his team being alive, well, at least Sasuke was not dead. One might think that this was because he was sitting right there, but it was the opposite, as there was some rather bad implication right there. Tsunade had enough of this though. Do you have any idea the amount of bullshit that you've started, she said. Her gaze, stern and focused on Naruto. What the hell do you think you're doing? The smile on his face increased. I missed you, he said to her. She was taken aback by the response. I know that you all have questions. I suppose you two are here to try to figure out where my headspace is at. But there's no need to worry. I suppose over the past few years, you thought I've been driven into a sense of insanity. Well, there was one point that I thought I would be. Flashback. During the years that Naruto was missing, Naruto found himself at an unknown land. It took him 3 months to get there. This land was located beyond the elemental nation, while the great nations and the smaller villages were mostly focused on the east side. Naruto traveled towards the west. Most people did not tend to venture out there because of the massive ocean. Most believe that it was just a large body of water and nothing more. However, Naruto had spent a month trying to find a place that he could not be bothered, a place that he would not be found, knowing that he was being hunted from a lot of sides. When one of his clones finally located something, it was an island, large enough to inhabit him, enough space. As Naruto doubted that anyone would search for him over here. There was a reason for that. The ocean was not kind, not at all. Many people that thread this far end up dying. And unlike them, Naruto did not have a boat or ship. He had to build one. 1,000 clones later and Naruto was able to fashion something. However, on his journey, it started to leak, and it was swallowed by the tides. Naruto almost got swallowed by the ocean. He could feel the water filling in his lungs, and he wanted to give up. However, he remembered what he had said to himself. If he did not die before he left Konoha, he would not give up until his goal had been a success. So he pulled himself out of the water, fighting the current, using the chakra at his disposal. That is when he was able to use his chains for something more productive than he thought. He concealed himself in a tight ball, using his new strange chakra that he doesn't really understand, as he trapped himself there, making a hole at the top so that he could breathe. He was on the sea for days. It had taken a whole month for his massive group of clones to even locate the island, so yes, it took him a while to get there. And even though his clones had located it, the distance between them and it was still so massive, and Naruto had no control. When he finally washed up there, he lay there just for a moment as he took in everything. When he got back to his feet, he gazed at the surroundings, gazed at the flush, trees with fruits. Source of water here was very large. Naruto ventured into the forest. On his first day inside, he was attacked by a bear. But these bears were not normal. Perhaps it was due to the isolation and the fight and survive on this little island that was there, as most creatures were not one that shared their locations or habitat. So it was a constant fight. Naruto pushed himself from day one going on. The first year, he knew that he had to focus on understanding everything that he's stolen. He pulled out the scrolls, he pulled out everything that he's took. As through trial and error, to the point that Naruto felt his body burning on the inside by trying to learn jutsus that were far too dangerous. To the point where he started to puke out blood because of experiments going wrong, and he ended up harming himself. If it wasn't for the fox healing ability, he was sure that every part of his skin would be layered in scars and cuts. Once the first year came to an end, he knew that he had to train his physical form. Naruto dived into the very ocean that was there. He tried to push his insides a new level, being able to focus, breathe underwater for much longer. He was trying to make his insides tough, everything about him. The scroll that he took from Konoha had information on so much, and all of it was beneficial. Naruto fed off the island. He fed off the animals that were there. As the isolation, it started to drive him mad. However, he did make a new friend. Well, he supposed they were only partners, and they were both in it for a goal, but that wasn't important right now. Naruto spent the next year and a half pushing himself physically and mentally. As he went to sleep, his whole body felt like a mountain had dropped on top of him. He strained himself every single day, taking short rests. As his muscles throbbed, he coughed out blood. His ears bleed. He felt like he was going mad as he pushed himself. His short rests were the only thing that was stopping him from completely breaking apart, as he constantly pushed himself over and over and over again. The final year, Naruto combined the both of them without a day of rest. Yes, you heard that right. For 5 months, Naruto pushed himself without rest. For 5 months, he felt like giving up. For 5 months, he felt like he was going to die every single day. It wasn't healthy. No, it was not. When he started to randomly puke up blood, when the fox told him, when the Nine Tails warned him that what he was doing was going to kill him, Naruto kept on going. Well, at least you could see that he didn't die. Back to the original time. As the group heard Naruto's story, they were shocked. However, there was a lot that Naruto did not tell them. So much. But it was just a fraction of what he did in order to grow his strength, in order to be able to truly make a change. He held his hand over the table as the forbidden scroll appeared. We thought this was stolen during the invasion, and all this time you had it, she said, anger coursing through her. I'm sorry, he said, once again taking her off. She hated how genuine he could sound in his apologies after doing something bad, like he deeply regretted it. I'm sure there's a lot you all want to ask me, so go ahead. Nothing is off limit. I will not lie, he said. Kurenai was the one to speak up. Have you found the answer, she asks. The answer that you've been searching for, on how you can make a difference. Is this the path that the answer has given you? I found multiple answers, Naruto said, and a lot of them were different. But I believe that this is the best approach. I suppose all of you have heard about my visit towards the other nations. Yes, we have. And you're going to start something that is going to result in your death, said Tsunade. You might believe that your strength is enough to back you after all that you've been through, but the entire world will be coming after you because you've started something that you have no way of finishing. Stop this stupid pursuit now, and we can find a way to sort something out. How exactly, said Naruto. If you haven't heard, which I'm sure you have, I killed 50 people within the land of lightning. Tsunade cursed under her breath. Damn it, you brat, she said, as this wasn't something that she could that easily solve. They would demand Naruto's head. Why did you do that? Inuichi said, I'm sure there was a better way to get your point across without actually committing genocide. Especially seeing that they were all innocent people from what I heard. They weren't ninjas. As he was trying to understand how Naruto's mind was at the moment, through my research of my answer, I've learned that in order to make the great changes that I desire, there will have to be a lot of death. I appall it, he said. The very thought of what I'm going to have to do, it makes me sick. But it has to be done. So are you here to give us a warning, Kakashi asks, wanting to hear from his own mouth. Are you here to tell us that you're going to wipe out half of the village? Are you here to tell us that if any of us stand in your way, you're going to kill us as well? Konoha shinobis, Konoha civilians. He questioned Naruto. Naruto turned his gaze towards him. If you stand in my way, I will kill you, said Naruto. I suppose that is enough answer to suffice what you're thinking. They all understood that implication. After all, Kakashi wasn't any normal person, so for him to say that meant Naruto desired to cut down anyone that stand in his way. Tsunade released a heavy breath. And you know I can't allow you to do any of this. If you try to stop me now, say you capture me, my death is certain. Because if you don't, hand me over to be killed by Kumo. They're going to launch a war on Konoha. And I'm sure that countless around here would rather my life be given than a war take place that will harm their loved ones. So, as the leader of this village, as the one to make this tough decision, tell me, exactly what are you going to do? Tsunade gritted her teeth as she gazed at him, knowing that exactly what he said was right. However, Inuichi and Kurenai noticed something. Hokage-sama, Kurenai said, you don't have to answer that. Naruto turned towards them. He desired the answer himself, because he hasn't figured it out. He wanted to know what he has to do when it comes to tough decisions. Isn't that right? Naruto smiled at them both. I must applaud you both for your intellect, but you are wrong. I've already figured out what I have to do. I just wanted to hear if she would sacrifice me for them. Because if I was in her position, I would sacrifice me as well. I hated my father for the longest time now for what he did to me, allowing me to grow without them. However, it wasn't until recently that I truly understand why he made the sacrifice he made, why he chose to leave behind his only son, why he gave up his own life for everyone here. Aren't you spitting on what he's done? Kakashi asks, if you're willing to do something like this, aren't you simply skipping over and spitting on all of his sacrifice? He looked at Naruto, waiting to hear what he has to say about that. I suppose in a way I am. However, I never said I'm perfect. In fact, no one in this world is perfect. However, I must be going. Like hell you are, said Tsunade as she got to her feet. You're not leaving this village until we sort this thing out. Naruto smiled at her. I suppose everything is on lockdown right now. All the civilians in the vicinity has been moved. And everything is where it should be. I can feel them, you know, said Naruto. I was always a good sensor. However, there is something you should know about me. When Sakura died, I awakened something known as Dark Chakra. Naruto said as he held up his hand, as they saw the substance moving around him like it was a shadow, but it was so thick. It's unusual, isn't it? Strange. It took me some time to truly understand this. However, I had help. As the Dark Chakra vanished away, you're smart enough to understand the moment you step foot in this village, that leaving was going to be on my terms and not yours, said Tsunade as she stepped towards him. Naruto showed no resistance as her hand shot out and slammed into his stomach, as there was a seal within her palm. She was prepared, they were all prepared. Do it now, she said. The seal and brigade launched themselves from their locations. Yes, they were hidden there. After all, the moment she and the others stepped foot into this home, it was the time that they needed for the others to prepare. Hidden themselves away. Naruto was brought down to one knee as they surrounded him. They activate a very powerful seal that stretched from all of their palm as they slammed it on the ground. A spiraling center appeared, trapping Naruto. Suddenly chains erupted from it and they started to bind into his flesh. This was a seal that was used to restrain tail beasts. Very advanced, very powerful. And as strong as Naruto has become, he didn't have the power for tail beasts. And they have to keep in mind, he also had the 9 tails as well. But the seal should be able to restrain it because it was also encrypted with a 5-pointer seal that was placed on his stomach the moment your hand hit his stomach, to further weaken him. They all watched as Naruto drop, seeming to be unable to move. Hyugas had scanned the vicinity. They also made sure that every precautions was made. This was the original, this was not a clone. However, the head Hyuga told her something strange though. He could not get a read on Naruto's chakra, or see beyond anything else. But the seal was still on his stomach. Yes, he had the 9 tails, but he could not get a read on any of the chakra pathways. They figured that he was hiding it somehow. However, the seal seemed to be doing its job as it bind Naruto and trapped him there. He looked up towards Tsunade. So I suppose you've made up your mind and you've chosen to sacrifice me, he said. She did not answer, but Naruto started to rise to his feet. The sensors that were outside started to feel it. The seal masters, well, if you could call them that, they realized something was wrong as Naruto got up. The seals still bind his power though. Release me, and many will not die. Quite ironic for the state that you're in. As I said, you're not going anywhere. She snapped her finger and the envoys arrived, ready to lead him away. However, Naruto looked once again at her. I think you want to look outside, he said. What the hell is that supposed to mean? She questioned him. They all felt it in that moment. The power was not coming from Naruto, but it simply appeared, almost like it simply willed itself into existence. Right at the border of the hidden leaf walls was the massive 9-tailed fox, the ferocious beast, just like all those years ago. It held its head to the sky and started to generate a massive tail beast bomb. Dread and fear started to swallow the people there. Tsunade rushed back in. Do you have any idea what you've done? She said. He must have a way, because if that would not stop, he would die as well. If I'm not released, many will die, he repeated himself once again. She gritted her teeth and clenched her fists. None of them would make it in time. They wouldn't be able to stop that. Release him, she said. They looked towards her. Release him now! Naruto was released immediately. The chakra from the fox dispelled. However, it did not move. It stood there. And everyone could see that it was real, that wasn't an illusion. Has he truly mastered the power of the fox? But how was it outside? How was he still alive? Naruto stepped towards Tsunade as she was furious. Her knuckles were getting white. She wanted to punch him for what he done, threatening to kill his own. Do you remember my words that were left behind in that note? That was the last thing that Naruto said. He did not wait for a reply, he simply vanished away. Naruto appeared within the sanctuary of the citizens. Everyone was looking at him with shock. As Naruto stepped towards the Haruna family and said his goodbyes. With that, he made his way off. Tsunade was there as she made her way out. She watches the Nine Tails vanish. "Can you feel any of them?" she questioned. The censors shook their head no. Time skip. She questioned both Harunos about what took place. However, all that they truly knew was he arrived and he wanted to see if they were okay. He did not speak about his plans or anything, he just wanted to know if they were okay, to talk to them, to see if everything was alright. Tsunade did not get it. He was willing to destroy the village if he was not released, killing himself and killing them. Perhaps it was just a bluff, but she could not call him on that bluff. He did not seem to be 100% there. He might seem to be, but she doubted that he was. There is no way that he can be that calm and at the same time that ferocious. Both Inoichi and Kurenai felt the same way. Something was wrong. He was too calm, and yet the next moment he was willing to condemn all of them, including himself and the people that he proclaimed to care about. He was willing to condemn them all to death. She released a sigh, seeing only one way that this can be sorted out. And that was to kill him. Because he was right. If they did not do something about it, if they pardoned him for what he did to Kumo, there will be a war. And Naruto was willing to cut down anyone in his way. He was willing to commit genocide on Konoha itself. Something has to be done. Time skip. Jiraiya got information. He finally got some information that was fresh, there for the taking. Naruto being at Konoha shocked him as he received word. Truly so, but at the same time, he got information about Naruto who was no longer hiding. The Sannin quickly raced towards the destination that was given to him. However, he believed that it might be a trap. The place was barren, empty. Seems like a setup to kill someone. However, Naruto was there, just seated on a stone. He was just sitting there, not doing anything. He was just there. Jiraiya stepped out of the foliage. As Naruto looked up towards him, he got to his feet. He stepped towards the Sannin. "You're a really fearless individual. Doesn't it strike you odd that I chose to reveal myself now, especially after my visit to Konoha?" "What the hell are you thinking?" Jiraiya shouted at him. "Do you have any idea what you've caused? You don't know, do you?" "Well, you should tell me. You have an in with the other villages. Well, your spies does. They're planning to come after you. Not just one. All of them. They're planning to take you out. Do you know how hard you've made things for you returning back to the village? It's almost impossible," he said. "Not almost, it is." Jiraiya looked towards Naruto with regret. Why? Why do this? I understand that you were in pain. I understand that you've been through a lot. But can't you see you're condemning your own life? You might be strong, but you can't fight the entire world. You're not unkillable. And now there is no going back. You killed 50 innocent people who had nothing to do with this. Naruto was smiling at him. "What the hell is wrong with you?" the Sannin said, raising his tone as his anger was getting the better of him. Searching for the past years had been really triggering for him, and now the face of all of that was right there, so calm. "I'm afraid I can't stop," said Naruto. "If I return to Konoha and they put up the force to stop me, I'll release the Nine Tails to slaughter them all. You would do that, even after the consequences of your birth that led to..." Jiraiya looked towards Naruto with hardened eyes. "The demise of your parents, and the background that you were forced to be raised in. You would really condemn them to that?" I will kill anyone and anything, said Naruto. But you have a choice. And what choice is that? Kill me, said Naruto. What? You heard me. This can be all over with if you simply end my life right here and now, because if you don't, I'll kill thousands, hundreds of thousands in order to get my point across. And in the end, I'll die as well. So there is no point. So I want to see right here and now, which one will you put before? Your own pride, the regret that you were unable to save me, or the feeling that you get knowing that you prevented mass genocide for innocent people. I've already killed over 50 people. Do you think a few more will bother me? You know what I think? I think that you've gone too far and you don't know how to come back and you want a way out of it. And death seems to be your only option right now, you believe, but it's not. I am going to fight you, said Jiraiya, because I know my words can't bring you back. But I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to restrain you until I can find a way to help you. Is that so? Jiraiya dashed forward and blitzed behind Naruto. Yes, it is. He swung his hand only for Naruto to block it with one of his own. I'm afraid it's not going to be that easy. They pushed each other away as they jumped back. As they landed at the same time, they kicked off, legs raised and clashed together. Both of them moving back once again. I'll give you that. You have gotten a lot stronger than the last time I saw you, but remember my words from the past. I am Jiraiya of the Sannin. He slammed his palm into his chest. And you won't win. And that's a promise I make to you right here and now. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. I'll find a solution to your situation. He dashed at Naruto once again as they traded blows, moving around the field in super speed, clashing with one another. Jiraiya was raking in his mind. He's reading every single move, keeping up with them perfectly. To think that he's gotten this better on his own, Jiraiya thought. As they jumped away again, the Sannin ran through hand sign as his hair shot out. His hair reached to wrap around Naruto, but Naruto vanished away. Jiraiya moved as Naruto's hand chopped the area where he once was. What the hell was that? An illusion? Can't be, Jiraiya questioned in his mind. Hey, the Sannin blinked. He spun around and fisted Naruto in the gut. When he saw Naruto's eyes sparkling, boom! As the smoke and dust cleared, Jiraiya was surrounded by his hair. He came out of it, as the real Naruto was standing on the stone. Jiraiya ran and sped through hand sign. The ground started twirling and sinking on itself. Jiraiya jumped above, bringing a heel so Naruto could not jump upwards. As he created two clones that attacked Naruto from left to right, while firing needles senbons out of his hair to both other sides. He was trapped. Rasengan. The simple word that came from his mouth. Jiraiya was sent sailing. His clones were destroyed. The ground was ripped apart. The Sannin flipped several times in the air and landed. What the hell was that? He didn't even move, Jiraiya thought to himself. You're perhaps wondering what happened a moment ago. While you have been limited to the standard equivalent of the first stage of the Rasengan, I've learned how to master it. And I'm not talking about simply adding an element to the Rasengan. That would be pathetic to what I've come to understand. You see, I don't have normal chakra, but I suppose you already know that from your words with the Hokage. My dark chakra allows me to be on a different level, and I'm not talking about strength. It is the understanding, but in doing so there has been setbacks to my own understanding of chakra itself. It took me a long time to truly understand it, said Naruto, but I had help to get the basics down. Jiraiya turned his gaze as he saw someone standing there. Her name is she. Death, Jiraiya thought to himself. You don't have to worry. Even if I'm about to die, she won't intervene. She stood there with her arm crossed, observing the battle. What now? Going to run away? Naruto asks. No, I'm going to do this. The Sannin blur through hand sign and release. A toad flame bombed towards Naruto. The flaming explosion ran straight at Naruto and seemingly almost swallowed him. However, Jiraiya could sense it as he looked up. He crossed his arms as the ground beneath him shattered. Naruto spun in mid-air as Jiraiya spun back, swinging a kick as Naruto blocked it. They started to trade blows once again, until Naruto broke his guard. Jiraiya was shocked, his eyes went wide. Naruto delivered such a kick to his stomach he felt the ear left his lungs. However, Jiraiya bit back the pain and grabbed Naruto's arm. He then swung his fist and slammed right across Naruto's cheek. As Naruto's face snapped towards the left side, the Sannin followed with a punch to the gut as he used Naruto's arm to raise him before tackling him and slamming him into the earth. He then flipped Naruto over, placing both of his hands while he tried, but Naruto overpowered the bind, pushing the Sannin off and kicking away his feet. A knee crashed into Jiraiya's nose, launching him. He flipped and stopped as blood dripped down towards the ground. He wiped his nose as Naruto got up and brushed himself off. I guess we're getting serious. Well then, allow me to retaliate, said Naruto. He stood there for a moment before, from his feet going up, his dark chakra started to swirl around him. Little by little, Jiraiya watched as the ground started to crack, the vibration through the ear itself. He blinked as Naruto was in front of him. Jiraiya crossed his arms, but the sensation sent a wave of pain through his entire body. It felt like Tsunade had just hit him, almost full force. Naruto blitzed above him and dropped him into the earth. Jiraiya burst out with a Rasengan, but Naruto with his bare fist punched right through the Rasengan. The Sannin was shocked as he saw the swirling, dark chakra around Naruto's fist, only to be met by a brutal kick that sent him through several trees. Jiraiya saw something grab his leg, a chain. He was spun so vigorously, everything became a blur until Naruto yanked it. He crashed his fist into Jiraiya's face, releasing the chain the Sannin was sent sailing, bouncing across the ground before, boom, he slammed into a rocky substance, tearing through it. He stood there taking breaths, shocked by the amount of pain that he was feeling. This sudden boost in power, this sudden growth in strength. The way he is right now, he can't beat it. To think, the child has accumulated such power to make him be unable to go further than this. Jiraiya went through hand sign. Summoning jutsu. Poof. I have been summoned. A massive red toad said, as it had a shield and a sasamada in its hand. Master Jiraiya, are you in need of my assistance? Gamaken, I need you to hold him off. I'm going into Sage Mode. Sage Mode? Who is the foe that we're up against? Gamaken gazed out as he saw. Is that the boy? He doesn't look like one anymore. Well, it has been a few years, Jiraiya said. To think that he would push you that far. However, I will do my best. But as you know, I'm ungraceful. It's alright, Gamaken, just hold him off. Gamaken proceeded to leap. Naruto jumped back as the entire ground was destroyed by the weapon of the toad. Naruto blitzed forward and punched, but the shield blocked him. His strength is incredible, Gamaken said as he felt it through the blow. Don't take him lightly, he's stronger than he looks. Yes, I understand, Gamaken said before sailing Naruto way by, pushing his shield harder. Gamaken then leaped into the air and threw his weapon. Naruto flipped and landed on it and ran upwards. He jumped and swing. But once again the shield blocked him. But Naruto did not swing with full force as he gripped the base top and flipped upwards. Naruto held his hand out. Ninja art, he said. Lightning release. Eternal dragon. Suddenly, the surge of electricity coursed around his chakra and it became form, solidify, as a beast of sizable proportions, made from thick, black chakra that was generating pure lightning, raced at Gamaken with a loud roar. Gamaken pulled his shield up as the backlash. Jiraiya himself had to duck down. It's powerful, Gamaken said before. He was blown away, thrown. The massive toad crashing hard. Gamaken, Jiraiya shouted, "Are you okay?" "Yes, my arm feels tingly, but I will live. I apologize for being so ungraceful," he said. Ninja art. Endless explosion. He heard. "Gamaken, watch it!" Jiraiya shouted as Gamaken used his shield. Naruto released several paper bombs that multiplied and multiplied. "Wait, I know that technique," Jiraiya said, remembering what Tsunade told him. That technique was created by the second Hokage. "Gamaken, move now!" The explosion triggered as they kept on multiplied. Gamaken leaped away as he got scuffed up, crashing down hard. "It seems you were right about not to judge his appearance. He is rather strong. Do you believe Sage Mode will be able to handle him completely?" "It's worth a try," said Jiraiya, starting to have doubts. To think, could Naruto have really learned every technique? Naruto stood there as he stopped moving. He just looked at Jiraiya and the toad. "He seemed to have been frozen," Gamaken said. "No, he's perfectly fine," Jiraiya said, not understanding why Naruto stopped attacking. The dark chakra even vanished from around him. A look of grimace came on Naruto's face as he tilted his head downwards. She started to move from where she was, coming towards Naruto, but he raised a hand, stopping her where she was. She nodded before returning back. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes at that. What the hell was that, he wondered. Naruto vanished. The Sanin looked upwards. Gamaken! But the toad wasn't fast enough as Naruto stepped hard on Gamaken. The toad could feel it. It was a dark chakra spreading through from the impact point. Naruto kicked Jiraiya right off the toad, sending him crashing down on the ground. Gamaken tried to body slam Naruto by jumping upwards and trying to grab him, but Naruto sped along his back. Naruto's hand was placed downwards as he swiped it. When he jumped off, Gamaken cried out as pockets of explosions erupted on his back, sending him into the ground. Gamaken was bleeding and he was a mess. "Go back home, Gamaken," Jiraiya shouted. "I am sorry," Gamaken apologized before poof. "Was that it?" said Naruto. "All that you had to offer?" Naruto sped towards Jiraiya, only for him to be knocked away violently. He crashed on the ground. Jiraiya stepped out, but he was different. "Ah, Jiraiya boy. I thought you said that you didn't like this transformation because it was unpopular with the girls." "It seems like he needed it." "For what though?" Ma said. Ma and Pa, the two elder toads resting on his shoulder. Jiraiya was serious and they noticed that. "Ah, we see," they responded. "So what is this?" Pa said. "Are you trying to bring him back?" "Subdue him. But he wants me to kill him, but I'm not going to." Ma looked over. "What if you don't have a choice?" "There is always a choice," said Jiraiya. "You know, You should listen, said Naruto. There isn't. Jiraiya blitz in front of Naruto's speed being something greater than before by leagues ahead. There is always a choice, he said, and I'm going to show you that. Naruto tried to block him, but Jiraiya shattered his guard and delivered a combo that sent him into the air. He then grabbed Naruto's leg and stuffed him into the earth. As Naruto's body bounced off it, Jiraiya sent him sailing with a kick, only to blitz above him and dropped his palm viciously into his gut. The ground beneath Naruto exploded upwards. Jiraiya rested his hand on Naruto with an incredible amount of force. As I said, it's before he could finish. Something hit Jiraiya that sent him away. He flipped and landed as Naruto got to his feet. What the hell was that? Jiraiya said. We didn't see anything. Both of the toads said confused. Hold on a minute, said Paul. Have you hit him before? What do you mean? In your normal state, have you hit him? Yes. Well, look at him. Your power is now greatly advanced, stronger than it ever has before. But he's not bleeding. Given that combo that you hit him with, it's like he's not even in pain. He looks like he's feeling it though, said Ma, but are your blows not strong enough? Impossible. My body is enhanced with Sage Mode, Jiraiya said, confused. What's going on? And what the hell just hit me? Now do you understand, said Naruto. You can't win. You can't best me. The only option for you to try is to use full force and kill me. Why the hell do you want to die so bad if you believe in what you're doing, said Jiraiya. I never said I want to die. I want to see if you have what it takes. So this is some sort of test. You're testing me to see what I'll do. Is this some sick way of seeing if I'll join you? Oh, trust me, it's not. I don't need any help. However, you have the opportunity right now to save thousands of lives. Because I can promise you, many will resist, including Konoha. And when they do, I'll butcher every single one of them. Jiraiya grit his teeth and clenched his fists, struggling with the fact that this was the son of Minato and Kushina. And the fact that he was never there, the fact that he was to blame. However, he was loyal to his village. It was his home. You could see the shift as Jiraiya proceeded to calm down. Understanding. He blitzed at Naruto and their fists clashed. His blows were much heavier. They traded blows. Jiraiya once again shattered Naruto's guard. This time though, a Rasengan built in its hand. He hit it within Naruto's gut before it expanded. Supermassive Rasengan, he said. His gaze looking away as he plunged it on Naruto with critical force. The technique seemingly swallowing Naruto up completely. The explosion followed was a nasty one as Jiraiya stood there. Everything went quiet. He gazed over towards the girl who had not moved an inch when he heard coughing. Jiraiya focused and saw Naruto standing there. His side was twisted and roughed up. Blood was coming from his left hand. However, the damage was minimal compared to what he just hit him with. As Naruto coughed and looked into his hand to see blood, he wiped his hand as he looked at Jiraiya. You were truly trying to kill me. Good, said Naruto. Now you understand. You wanted me to kill you. Jiraiya said, trying to understand the philosophy behind his actions. And I said that it was good, Naruto said, because you understand the sacrifice that needs to be made. But now, the dark chakra started to surge around Naruto as it completely swallowed him. His broken and battered form started to quickly repair itself. The damage was even that bad, but still it repaired in seconds. Naruto was surging with so much power that the vein along his body were pulsating. "You ready?" Naruto asked. Before Jiraiya could say something as he guarded himself, Naruto blitzed in front of him. Blows that were traded start to rip the entire environment apart. Both Tsunade's moved away as Jiraiya formed another Rasengan. Naruto formed one as well, and Naruto Rasengan ripped through his like a hot knife through butter. The Tsunade was shocked as Naruto Rasengan drilled into his shoulder. The toad tried to stick its tongue out, but Naruto vanished away once again and kicked Jiraiya so hard in the back he cried out in pain. And remember, Jiraiya was still covered with sage energy. Naruto dropped down and grabbed him by the hair and raised him. 4 punches to the face became 10 and 10 became 15. "Jiraiya boy!" Paul shouted out, trying to stabilize him as Jiraiya was being pelted by Naruto blows. Paul shot his tongue out as he swept it across the entire place. Naruto jumped away. Jiraiya collapsed down. Both Ma and Pa surged the sage energy in him, repairing his battered form as he spat out a tooth along with blood. He almost had me," said Jiraiya. As he couldn't break that guard. With each punch, it was the weaker he got. He looked up as he crossed his arms as Naruto sent him through the forest. Jiraiya looked up as Naruto was in mid-air. Naruto threw something down towards him, pulsating with so much chakra. Jiraiya sped off. The moment the attack hit the ground, it erupted in a blast that swallowed the entire forest. Fire and wind. An explosion that was strong enough to eviscerate the entire forest completely. The place was a wasteland now completely as Jiraiya took several deep breaths. When Naruto was in front of him, not relenting one bit, Jiraiya blocked his blow as he slammed his fist into Naruto's face. But Naruto followed up with a fist to his gut. The Tsunade headbutt Naruto as the toads wrapped their tongues around him to hold him in place. Jiraiya raised both of his arms, using all the power at his disposal as he brought it down. However, the toads cried out as Naruto ripped their tongues to pieces and grabbed the Tsunade arms. As the ground exploded, Naruto jumped and lifted Jiraiya, shocking the man. Naruto then brought him into the earth. The entire platform underneath them gave way as they fell into an open underground cavern. But that wasn't a weakened structure. Naruto had broke Jiraiya through it. The Tsunade landed in pain as he formed another Rasengan. But Naruto dodged and kicked him across the face. Jiraiya spiraled as he came to a stop. "Are you two okay?" he questioned. The both of them raised their hands up, ready to go through hand sign, knowing what it would take. Jiraiya nodded as he sped through hand sign as well, a collaboration of all of their techniques, creating a literal soup of death. It swallowed the entire environment, given the small space, and raced towards Naruto. As Naruto said the word once again, Rasengan, and Jiraiya was able to fully see it. The Rasengan surrounded Naruto, when suddenly, the black chakra, the dark powerful force, twisted into the lightning element and then the wind element. They fused with the Rasengan as Naruto stepped. With each step it was like a hurricane. Naruto walked through their attack, destroying it molecule by molecule until he was close enough and he released the Rasengan that surrounded him forward. Jiraiya's eyes went wide. On the surface, boom! An explosion, much more powerful than anything Jiraiya has released so far, ruptured the entire earth. The Tsunade found themselves on the surface, spatting up blood, both of the toads having a hard time speaking due to their tongue. As Naruto was looking down at Jiraiya, his speed to reach him this quickly, Naruto grabbed both of the toads and they felt it. They felt the dark chakra. The next moment, they lost their connection to nature energy as they cried out in pain. Infused by the darkness of Naruto chakra, he tossed them aside as they collapsed. Jiraiya looked up as Naruto stepped in his face, crushing him into the earth. Naruto reached down and picked him up by the throat and held him there. The Sannin dropped his fist into Naruto's face. Once, twice, third, and again, but Naruto just kept on squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. Jiraiya boy! The toads shouted out, trying to get back to their feet despite the pain as Naruto showed no sign of releasing Jiraiya. Naruto held his hand out and placed it towards the both of them as if he was pointing. Chakra accumulated around his two fingers. Run! Jiraiya said, struggling to speak. The toads saw the amount of power and given their state they would not be able to dodge it. Run now! Jiraiya screamed out as he tried to grab Naruto's hand but unsuccessful. With an aching heart, they both poofed away. They're gone. You no longer have the strength that you once possessed. And as you can see, I'm fine, said Naruto. So I guess that means that you're dead. The Sannin looked at Naruto as his vision started to gain black spots. He was going to die. He can't win. All these years searching, and this is how he fell. At Naruto's hands. He was going to die. As his eyes closed. Time skip. At Konoha, within the Hokage office. Nothing else can be done. They had a meeting about it. The only solution now is to kill Naruto, because they couldn't allow him to kill half of their people. They needed help though. With the power of the Nine Tails, they can't best him on their own, but the other nations were stubborn. Tsunade knew they would be extremely stubborn, believing that they could handle the threat on their own. And besides, Oniki, the Raikage, they would not trust her, knowing that he was from her village. She wasn't sure about the new Mizukage. She heard about the woman, but she wasn't sure. Hey there. Tsunade jumped out of her chair, the Anvus drawing their blade and descending upon. They paused, as Naruto was holding Jiraiya in his arms. Tsunade's eyes widened, afraid to even look at Jiraiya's body, terrified to believe that he was. Don't worry, he's not dead. She felt like her heart rested peacefully at that as Naruto placed Jiraiya on the table. The Anvus waiting for her signal as she had stopped them. Next time, tell him not to do something so foolish. Tsunade looked down towards the battered Jiraiya as Naruto vanished away. The fact that he could step in and out of Konoha when he pleased was truly terrifying, and they still had no idea how he does it. Perhaps Jiraiya has. As she looked at the state that he was in, to believe Naruto was able to defeat their strongest, that meant one-on-one. No one in the village stand a chance, not even her, if he was able to best Jiraiya like this. This was bad. Extremely bad. Meanwhile that was going on, Sasuke Uchiha stood tall, as the body of Orochimaru laid in pieces. It was time. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
"一人じゃ危険すぎる。わしはコロハの3人だぞ。